Hey guys, Jordan Boostmaster here. So I just got 75,000 subscribers recently, and that's really exciting. So I want to thank all of you guys for subscribing. It's been so awesome. I've been doing this channel for so long now. I made this channel back in January of 2012. And I would say that just in the last year alone, I've been growing quite a lot, much faster growth than the 5 years before that, basically. So I want to do a Q&A for you guys. So you guys seen I posted on Instagram, a post where you can write all your questions. So I'm going to be reading questions from Instagram there. But before I start, I just wanted to let you guys know about my website, jordanboostmaster.com, as well as my kit profile, which is kit.com/jordanboostmaster. And that's where you can find all of my gear, like my filming equipment, my GoPro products and equipment that I use, as well as my bike parts, like on my DaVinci Wilson as well. You can check out all those and their affiliate links, which is great for supporting my channel. So on to the questions. So I'm giving my patrons first priority. And so I made a post recently where I asked them to send me questions. And so I'm going to be reading my patrons' questions first. So Blue Ridge Chunder asks, he says, I already asked Eric this, but I'd also like your input also. How did you get over gaps in general and drops bigger than 3 feet? It really messes with my head. Basically, I just think experience is really good. I have a lot of experience hitting jumps, like small jumps, all throughout growing up. There's a lot of jumps at my local trails, a lot of small jumps, a lot of medium jumps, a lot of just kind of any size jumps. So just that whole experience, I don't know. And when it comes to drops, just understanding what you're supposed to do, just kind of like lunge the front wheel forward and up, kind of like lift the front wheel up and lunge it forward so that you can like land 2 wheels down at the same time. So the easiest thing to say is just experience, a lot of experience, just taking it slow. You don't have to push yourself right away. Just get lots of experience hitting what you are comfortable with and then slowly work your way up. Charles Kim asks, says, my question is, how do you go from riding trails to hitting those jumps and making it look fun? Are lessons or bike school worth it? Keep up the good work. Similar thing. I mean, I've never really done lessons or bike schooling necessarily for learning skills like that. I'm not sure if it's worth it because I've just never done it. So it's hard to say, but otherwise it's just a lot of experience, as I said before. And I mean, I was always into hitting jumps even before I started mountain biking. On like my BMX bike, I would always like to hit jumps. So even before I was in mountain biking, you know, just getting air time was just something that appealed to me anyway. A second question is, how do you get over a bad crash or injury once your body heals? I can imagine the mind games one may have after a bad crash can mess with your head. Yeah, that is true. I've definitely been really kind of discouraged and just mentally out of it when I have a bad crash. So like when I broke my wrist in November of 2016, that would have been the worst injury that I've ever had. And so that just really put me out of it. Like almost all of 2017, at least the first like 3/4 of 2017, I was just like not that confident. I was finally riding just about at my full level by like the beginning of fall of 2017. Not just because I was physically healing, but then also because like I was getting back into the mind of things. I was just so out of it. I'm so like scared of hurting myself. So yeah, it does take time. It just really takes time. And basically I just know that I can do it. I just know that basically as I warm myself back into mountain biking again, I start to realize like, yeah, I can do this again. You know, I can do this. This is within my skill level and I can go back to hitting all the same jumps again because I just reminded myself that, oh yeah, you know, I can do this and I have done this and this is within my skill level. Biking with Panda asks, how do you keep yourself cool while being internet famous? Do you notice any difference at all or just same old Jordan? I think I'm probably just the same old Jordan. I'm trying my best to just be the same normal guy, you know, just be humble. Yeah, plus I don't consider myself very internet famous anyway. So he also asks, does your channel push you to ride harder and faster than you would otherwise and make you more prone to crashes or injuries? Or do you just push it to the edge always? I think that honestly, I kind of always would push it as far as I am anyway. Maybe having the YouTube channel will affect things a little bit, but I don't think it affects it that much. I just want to ride this stuff anyway, whether I filmed it or not, right? Okay, Nick Cutler asks, I have a super generic question. My Google Foo is failing me. Why do you and many other BC riders manual through puddles? Does it serve a purpose? Where I live, trails get closed due to rain and wet conditions, so we don't get to deal with puddles much. All it really is just to avoid getting mud splashed in your face. That's about it. I'll let my back tire roll through it, but then if my front tire goes through it, especially without a fender, like then you'll really get in a big splash like on your chest where my camera is. And I don't want to get my camera wet or dirty. That's the main thing, or the gimbal especially. The camera is waterproof anyway, but that's kind of honestly the main thing. I just don't want to get like soaked. So manual through puddles, let the back end go through, that's fine. That's not a big deal, but just not the front end. Stephen Bleal asks, kind of a two-parter, is YouTube your full-time job or do you have another one? And if YouTube is your full-time job, then what do you think you would be doing for work if you didn't have your channel? So first of all, YouTube is not my full-time job. I would love it to be my full-time job. And that's one big reason why I made Patreon, is because I really want to go kind of more independent with this thing. I want to go more full-time with YouTube. And so I'm really hoping that I can use Patreon as something that can really push me closer and closer to doing YouTube as full-time. So I do have a day job. I deliver bread to Costco a few days a week. It's all right, but yeah, really, I don't want to stick around on that for too much longer. I'd really like to go more full-time as much as I can. So I know that I can really do more if YouTube really is my full-time job. I can do more, but by having a day job, it really does kind of restrict how much I'm able to work on all this. So I'm trying to make this a full-time thing. But then what do you think you'd do for work if you didn't have your channel? I mean, I'd probably just be involved somehow in the film industry some way. I definitely like editing and filming and all that kind of stuff. So I'd probably be involved in film or something like that, or maybe like freelancing stuff more. But yeah, I've just been in the direction of just kind of YouTube and mountain bike YouTubing just because that's what I'm most interested in. So Mountain Bike Geek asks, do you plan on getting a long travel single crown to keep up with the enduro crowd? Well, yeah, I mean, I intend on getting, like I say, 6-inch travel, like a 160 millimeter enduro bike. Definitely whenever I can. I can't afford it right away, but that is definitely something I would like to get. Thomas Delgado asks, would you consider getting a dirt jumper or slopestyle bike? Would you also consider doing tutorials? I definitely love having a dirt jumper, and I have not had one for a little while now, so yes, I would love to get a dirt jumper again. I really love dirt jumping. I think I'd prefer a dirt jump hardtail over like a slopestyle bike, like a full suspension 4-inch bike. Yeah, I'd probably just rather go for a hardtail. As for tutorials though, I mean, they're not really my thing. I definitely want to try and do a few more. So like I'm working on a big GoPro Hero 6 tutorial. I'm just kind of explaining everything about GoPro Hero 6, but I don't know. I don't think tutorials are really my strong point though. All right, so now we'll get to the Instagram questions here. So we got DMYTRO_C asks, if money wasn't of concern, what would you do and where would you go? I think that I would do a lot of the same things I'm doing now in terms of like making mountain bike videos, mountain biking, you know, that kind of stuff. I would probably still try to just kind of express myself through, I don't know, different creative outlets, like making videos just like I am now. Because I really enjoy this. That's why I'm doing this. I just really enjoy it anyway, and I'd obviously love to make a living from it. I would probably travel a bit more, honestly. Harley_DB Lipping asks, what is your absolute most favorite bike park to ride? Well, I'd have to say Whistler. No surprise there, I guess, but I also haven't ridden a ton of bike parks either, but from all the bike parks I have ridden, I would say Whistler is the best one, at least in terms of, if we're talking like lift access bike parks. Matt Ski and MTB asks, how did you get jumping skills if you aren't able to ride park very often? I also don't have a pump track within biking distance. Well, I mean, you don't need to ride park just to get jumping skills. I mean, at my local trails, which I've ridden all the time since I was growing up, they have a lot of jumps there. You just build your own jumps. You know, even before I was into mountain biking, as I mentioned earlier, I would just like to hit jumps, like wooden jumps on my BMX bike kind of thing, just doing that. And that gets you lots of experience with jumping. Cap'n Angler asks, do you have travel plans for 2018? Not firm plans entirely. Probably the most firm plans we have set in stone now are going to Utah, probably about the same time, late October of this year, again with my friends, just like we did last year. Otherwise, I do want to do some more trips to the States, like say Washington or Oregon. I would also love to go to North Carolina on the East Coast, kind of where Seth's Bike Hacks is, a little bit over there, and maybe single track sampler, that kind of stuff. There looks like a lot of really cool stuff there in North Carolina, and so I would love to make my way out there. Ryan Hughes asks, will you ever get a trail bike? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get a hardtail. That's what I'm gonna get next, actually. I'm gonna get a hardtail next. Josh Gee asks, if you could have any bike whatsoever, what would it be and why? Probably my DaVinci Wilson. That's why I bought it. Because it looks awesome, because the geometry looks right. It's 26-inch. It looks awesome. It is awesome. It feels awesome, so that's why I bought it. So that's probably the best answer for that question. Oliver Cole asks, what is your favorite and least favorite things about mountain biking? I'd say my favorite things would be airtime and just flying. I love that. I just love flying. I love just airtime. That would be probably my favorite thing. Least favorite thing would be the injuries. That is not fun. That is really not cool. Four Cross Ollie asks, who is your mountain bike inspiration and what made you get into mountain biking? As far as mountain bike inspiration, it's a bit hard to say. I'd say like just kind of the free riders from like say 10, 15 years ago, back when I was just getting into it. People like Darren Bearcloth, Chemical. What really made me get into mountain biking, I guess that was actually just a friend who came to my school in grade 7. He was into mountain biking. I was just kind of more into riding bikes and hitting jumps on my crappy BMX bike. And then since he was into mountain biking, then yeah, sweet. And we went on a mountain bike ride and I just thought that was super cool, you know, hitting jumps in the dirt in the mountains. I thought that was super cool. So that really got me into mountain biking. Eric Santaella asks, what is your favorite food? Good question. I have a lot of favorite foods and I actually like a lot of food. I love pasta a lot. Italian stuff is really good. Pasta is great. I'm not very picky. I like quite a lot of food and I definitely try to eat healthy. Do you regret getting a secondhand bike? No, not really, no. I'm quite happy with my bike now. It was just really annoying, like going through the process of fixing it up, but like it's pretty much good to go now. It's like awesome. Not really anything needing to change on it now. I know I could have gotten a new DaVinci Wilson for like about the same price overall with like no hassle at all. But I think I'm actually happier with this bike. For one, because I think it is a better bike for me. The geometry of it is more in tune with me. A friend of mine has a 27.5 DaVinci Wilson. He says it's not very freeride friendly as much. It's more downhill specific. And he says the old Wilsons like mine are better for freeride and jumps and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I don't need to worry about getting a new Wilson. I don't know. Navy.vk asks, what is your favorite trick? I would say a tail whip is the coolest trick. Just a simple tail whip is really cool. I can't do it, but yeah, I just think it's like such a cool looking trick and I'd love to do it one day. All Seasons Mountain Sports asks, what is the cheapest kind of bike capable for park riding? I don't have the money for a DH bike right now. That's hard to say because like technically, you know, you can bring a hardtail to bike parks. It's just not ideal, and so maybe that's not really capable properly because I wouldn't do that repeatedly. I'm sure you can spend like $1,500 or something on something decent. 1,500, 2,000, and it'll be good for bike parks pretty much. Sherlack asks, can you ride a unicycle? No, I cannot ride a unicycle. I've tried it and it's super hard, super hard. I cannot do it. Adventure Kendama asks, top 5 favorite Whistler runs? Well, Dirt Merchant's probably my favorite. I mean, A-Line's always a solid one. Freight Train's really good. I like Schleyer. Schleier's really good. D1 is super cool now. Duffman, I like that one. I'll go with those for now. SupBud01 asks, what's your favorite song and or band? Well, I really liked Linkin Park growing up. Like in high school, Linkin Park was easily my favorite band. I would say they basically still are. I like their older stuff a lot better though. It's hard to say about a favorite song. I mean, that changes a bunch. For the longest time, Faint by Linkin Park was my favorite. Too difficult to say what's my favorite song or band right now, really. Dos de Bucci, I don't know if I said that right. He asked, do you think a gimbal is worth it? That's a bit hard to say because I never actually paid for it. But basically I would say, like, for me and for my uses, yeah, it would be worth it. I mean, if you're wanting to make lots of YouTube videos and stuff, then yeah, I'd say getting a gimbal's worth it. Not that you have to always use it or rely on it, but like, I think it's probably worth it. Mike likes bikes. Would you ever consider getting a road bike? Not anytime soon. I don't really have any use for it anytime soon. I do like the idea of like getting exercise and kind of biking around the road for some good exercise, but I'm gonna use a hardtail for that for now. I'm not gonna look into any road bikes for now. TC Bike Life asks, have you ever dirt biked? I actually have not, which is kind of lame. I would love to try dirt bikes. I've ridden a quad long ago. That was fun, but yeah, dirt bikes, I'd love to try that. I think it'd be a lot of fun, but I haven't done it yet. DH Mountain Bike Life asks, what has been your favorite DH bike to ride and why? I think I would have to go with my own bike, my 2013 DaVinci Wilson. It's pretty agile for a DH bike. It's pretty like free ride friendly. It's really nice. So For a DH bike, yeah, I would say it has been the most agile, the best jumpy kind of DH bike that I've really tried, as far as I can remember. Geisterswerg asks, when did you start biking? I mean, I started mountain biking when I was like in grade 8 or grade 9. I think in grade 9 is when I bought my first mountain bike. So that was like 14 years ago. But otherwise, I've always been into like riding bikes and riding like a BMX bike, and for as long as I can remember. Semslayer asks, what is your favorite music genre? Probably rock. I'd say rock. I just don't like too much rock from nowadays though, honestly, that's the thing. Cameron Dulligal asks, when will you come back to New Zealand? I'm not too sure, I don't have plans right now, but it wouldn't be this year, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go back there sooner than later, for sure. I mean, like if I can make YouTube like a full-time job, then that will definitely free me up to go to these places a lot easier and a lot sooner. But as of right now, it's just really hard to say. Maybe 2019 would be the earliest. Subaru_Nick47 asks, what was your first bike? My first bike was a Norco Wolverine. I think it was a 2003 Norco Wolverine. Emil Breivik asks, what's the biggest huck to flat you've ever done? I mean, that's kind of hard to say, but I do remember one that stands out, and that was at Whistler. It was on my hardtail, so that's why it really stands out. It was basically that very last jump on A-line, and this was probably like, I mean, years ago. This could have been like even 8-10 years ago, I'm not sure. So it was like the last jump before it kind of goes out into the open, and then you go to the GLC drop. I jumped to flat, basically. Like, I mean, the landing of that, like once it flattens out, it's a lot lower than where you started off from the lip. And so you jump, and then I overshot that, and then landing to flat on any bike, that would be kind of scary. But that was on a hardtail. It was on a Brody Hellion, like a 5-inch travel hardtail. It was just stupid, it freaked me out. So I landed flat, I bent my pedal, my chain broke right off, and then I also screwed up my bottom bracket as well. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was just so weird. Trail Features asks, do you ever feel bad for gravity and crash to let it win every now and then? Nope. I do not feel bad for gravity, and I do not let it win ever. When I do crash, it's because of my own failures. Nadisisti asks, worst injury? Probably, no, it was breaking my wrist in 2016. That was the worst. Before that, I had tore a tendon in my right thumb. That was quite bad because that required surgery and a cast as well. But yeah, I don't know, I'd say breaking my wrist was worse just because the healing process took quite a while, and it just really messed me up. Like, mentally speaking, it kind of just brought me out of it. Jack Thornton asks, 29 versus 27.5 versus 26. Well, I've only ever owned 26, and I quite like 26, and I don't ever intend on getting a 29er, probably not, but I will get a 27.5-inch bike once I get a new hardtail. It'll be kind of like an enduro hardtail. And same with when I get like a 6-inch travel enduro full suspension bike, that'll definitely be a 27.5 bike. And then I can really kind of get to know those wheel sizes more, but 26-inch is just tougher and stronger and better for jumping and free ride anyway. So that's why I like 26 a lot. And it's just better for handling and more agility as well. Jim Beamkins asks, why don't you put a dropper post on your Norco Truax? Because I don't really pedal it very much at all. That's why. I really don't need to. I just don't pedal it up. I still hike that bike up. Big Show _111 asks, what do you recommend for a good first enduro bike? A hardtail. That's what I recommend. I recommend that for anybody going into mountain biking for the first time. A hardtail is really good because it teaches you how to ride. It teaches you the physics of what happens to the bike when it hits the rocks and the roots and everything. So I just recommend a hardtail. Lesar Desra asks, do you believe in a God? Yes, I'm a Christian, so yes, I believe in God. All right, Daily Mountain Bike Rider asks, will you help me bring jean jorts back into style with me? Yes, I will. I'm wearing them right now. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, look at these, huh? Oh, sick, man. Yes, we will bring them back in style. Matt _AC16 asks, do you like slopestyle? Yes, I do. I love slopestyle. I love watching the competitions. Those are probably the main competitions that I usually watch, although I don't actually watch them very much anymore, but I love slopestyle. Liam Chinaweth 2 says, do you prefer clips or flats and why? I ride flats. I've never ridden clips. Clips just kind of freaks me out. I've never actually tried clips, so honestly, I don't know. I can't say too much about them, but I just like flats. I like the idea of being able to take your feet off easily and not being stuck on the bike. Enduro_2440 asks, how much longer do you have to wear your wrist guard? And I've broken my wrist and I'm just about to get out of a cast. PS, what wrist guard do you use? I mean, I don't know how much longer I would wear it. I'd probably wear it for quite a while now, just as like protection. I just don't know how much longer I need to wear it really. I just know that when I don't wear it, I can mostly ride fine, but then after a little bit I get sore sooner. And so then I decide, okay, I need to put it back on. So I have no idea, it's fine. I can mostly ride the same with it on, so it's fine. But as for what kind it is, I don't know. I get a lot of questions about what kind it is. I have no idea. It's like some no-name, you just find it at your local clinic. They just have a bunch of different kind of wrist braces, knee braces, whatever. Find something there. It's got like a metal piece kind of over here. It's also got a metal piece on the thumb here. There are different kinds. So just find kind of what works for you, I guess, and gives you enough mobility. Tucker Orman asks, what is your favorite Whistler tech trail? I think it might be Schleyer. Schleyer is a really fun one, but I also really enjoyed Fat Kerbat. So, you know, I'll just say Schleyer for now. Iglin85211 mountain bike asks, what's your least favorite trail in Wisnar? Least favorite trail, it's probably the trail called Fantastic or Easy Does It, because it's just kind of pointless. Yeah, one of those two. Ben Patrick 2511. Have you ever flipped a bike? Only in like foam pits, that's it. I've just practiced some backflips like years ago in a foam pit and it was fun. I was kind of getting the hang of it, but it's been a while and I've never tried it to dirt. D.A. Fernandez asks, what would be the best advice you can give a newbie that is starting to ride mountain biking during his mid-40s? I guess I would say maybe take it easy, take it slow. I mean, you don't want to be hurting yourself, you don't want to be crashing. I know I don't want to be crashing, I don't want to be hurting myself, but yeah, I don't know, just don't try to push yourself too much. Just ride within your limits, and like, that's about all I can say for right now. Benjamin Stanik asks, what's your advice for teens looking to get into the sport? I would say get a hardtail, because that will teach you how to ride. That'll teach you the physics of how the bike handles when it comes in contact with roots and rocks and jumps and everything like that. So if you want to be riding for a long time and you want to be really good, definitely ride a hardtail, for sure. Tyler Duchesne asks, would you ever want to buy or rent a van and do an epic Canada-US epic riding trip? Live out of a van for a few months? Not really. I'm just not really the kind of person who really desires to live out of a van. So it's really cool seeing like some other people doing that. Single Track Sampler, BCPOV is doing that. I know Sid and Mackie are living out of a van. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool lifestyle. It's not for me. I just can't do that. But I definitely would love to do some epic trips. Just the whole living out of a van part of it, I don't think that would work well for me, honestly. Z Delzoppo123 asks, how did you meet Wesley? Well, I know he first messaged me on Pink Bike about like filming him or something, but otherwise we actually just ran into each other on the local trails at Ledgeview. Anyway, I was just hiking up and they were just kind of hanging out on some jumps or something like that, and so that's when I first met him. Carter Rides Mountain Bike asks, did you damage your bike off of the clown shoes drop because it made a rubbing sound after you landed? Oh, sh**. Oh! That was huge! Oh, sh**. Yeah, you know what? I didn't seem to damage my bike or anything, thankfully. I was kind of afraid that I messed something up because, yeah, I know there was a weird sound. I think maybe what it was is that I might have like kind of pressed my fender into my tire or something, but I don't know, because it kept like buzzing and buzzing for the next like 5 seconds after I was like rolling out. I don't know. All I can think of is that it's something to do with the fender that was on there, that it was like hitting something, rubbing against something, because it didn't rub like right away after that. It was fine, and the fork was fine and everything like that. So Jackson Donovan asks, what's the best trail to do if it's your first time at the Whistler Bike Park? That is kind of hard depending on your skill level, but I mean, blues are always safe to go for. I mean, Crank It Up is a pretty good one. I think that, yeah, if it's your first time at Whistler, Crank It Up is probably a good solid bet. Jacklem12 asks, how long have you been making videos, and also how was meeting Seth's bike hacks? So I've been making videos since like, I got my first video camera in 2006. That's when I first started to like film stuff and make like mountain bike videos back in 2006. And it was awesome meeting Seth's bike hacks. That was totally awesome meeting Seth. He's really cool. And yeah, I can't wait to meet him again. Because I'm pretty sure he'll be out here this summer at some point. So Rennie Mule asks, what's the worst crash I've had? So I think that might be back in 2008. So this is before any POV footage or anything like that. And also it was when A-Line was a bit different, is where they didn't have that huge like moon booter with those two big berms beforehand. This is way before that. There's 3 jumps in a row rather than just 2. There's 3 jumps, and that last jump, I endoed it. And so I landed kind of like on my chest, and it was super bad. I don't know what happened. I endoed it, I landed on my chest, I hit my chin against the ground. I needed stitches on the chin, even though I was wearing a full face, but yeah, that didn't help. And then my thighs just got scraped like really badly on my thighs, and I knocked the wind out of me for about almost a minute. Once I got my breath back again, I threw up, and it just ended my day right there. Just so bad, because it's such a hard landing, and I just kind of like landed like on my chest like that, and it was just the worst. Yeah, that messed me up. That was not fun. Otherwise, it didn't really injure me necessarily, but so that was probably like the worst crash, aside from like, you know, breaking my wrist or something like that, right? Dylan Z91 asks, do you like memes? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Xtrl23 asks, are you a coffee or a tea person? Honestly, I'm basically neither. I don't drink either, actually. I don't really like coffee, but I like coffee flavor and other things. And when it comes to tea, I'm more open to drinking tea, but I don't really drink it very much. Murph Dog Mountain Bike asks, what's your opinion on DH29er e-bikes? No. Let's just say they're not for me. Let's just say that. 29ers I'm already a no on. I'm not gonna get an e-bike, especially for DH e-bikes. I just don't understand that. I think that's kind of silly, so forget that. And then 29er DH bike, like, no, I just don't even, no. All right, you guys, thanks for sending in all the questions. I hope you enjoyed it. One of my goals is to reach about 100,000 subscribers this year, preferably before winter starts. That's one of my goals, and I need to grow faster than I currently am if I'm gonna make that. I hope I can get 100,000 before winter starts. So we'll see, maybe in November. That would be epic. That would be one of my goals. And obviously I'd love to make a full-time income from YouTube itself. And certainly I've been growing a lot more in the last year. And so I'd say Patreon is probably the best and most stable place where I can kind of earn a consistent and stable income that doesn't entirely rely on YouTube views and that kind of stuff. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to check out my Patreon page, and if you really enjoy my channel and you've been watching it for a while, consider supporting me, even if it's just $1 a month. That's basically nothing, but it all adds up. And so I definitely want to encourage you guys to check that out. And if I want to travel more and I want to get out places more and ride more and make more videos, because I know I can. I know I have a lot of video ideas I have in my sleeve that it's getting difficult to really make them, because I don't really have quite the time. You know, I have to work my day job, you know, a few days a week and stuff, and it's just been difficult to really put in the effort and time I want to put into this channel. So consider supporting me on Patreon. There's lots of fun perks there that you'll get anyway, especially if you pledge at the $3 a month level. I want to give a huge shout out to my Boostmaster level patrons. They give me 15 bucks a month, and thank you to all of my other patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. It really does help, and it means a lot. The more support I have, the more motivation and energy I have, and the more time I have to make more cool content for you guys. So I'll catch you guys later.